Hey friends, it's Miss Erin with the Downers Grove Public Library here. Today we're going to go on an art tour throughout the library and we're going to talk about some of the pieces of art that are hanging up in the library. And I brought a special guest who's going to tell us a little bit about the art. But first, special guest, can you tell us about yourself and what you do here at the library?
Certainly. So my name is Miss Grace, or just Grace, whatever. I respond to most things. And I am the graphic design and display coordinator at the library. I get to work with the exhibits. I get to work with the permanent collection. I do all the signs, bookmarks, you name it. I've probably touched it.
So we see all of Miss Grace's work throughout the library, even though we don't know it. And like she said, one of the things she does right now is coordinate all of our displays. So all the artwork that happens in the library throughout like a monthly basis.
Yes.
Yeah. And then we have things that are always hanging in the library. And what we have hanging always in the library is what we're going to talk about today.
Mm-hmm.
So guys, every time you go up the stairs or go down the stairs of the library, there's a piece of artwork that you may have seen and wondered about. Grace, can you tell us a little bit about what we're looking at?
Sure. So this is the story of Gilgamesh. It's like one of the world's oldest surviving stories. It came out of Mesopotamia, which is in Africa. But anyway, the library got this relief art in 1977. So we've had this for a long time. It used to be in a different part of the building. It was even cemented into the wall. When we did the big renovation, we had to move it, and we did some restoration on it recently so that it could look as great as it does today.
Grace, can you tell us a little bit about what relief work means? What does that mean?
Yeah.
What is this made of? What does it mean to be relief?
Sure. So anything that is relief art means that there is some sort of three-dimensional element to it. So if you get in closer, you can see that there's carvings all over this that go into the piece. Some of it sticks out of the piece. That's what makes something relief. And relief can kind of be made out of just about anything you can carve into. You can even make something, a relief piece of art out of your mashed potatoes at dinner. But this right here, this is, oh goodness, I'm forgetting what it is. I believe it is clay. And, as you can imagine, it took a long time to do, lots of pieces involved, and to put it together, and makes a big, beautiful piece.
I can see, and I don't know if you guys can see it, but when you come to the library, or if we zoom up, I think this is the artist's name.
Yes.
Carved right here. Is it Dallas Williams Cole?
That is Dallas Cole, yes.
Oh, look at that.
She's an artist that is based out of Oregon. I don't recall.
It looks like we got it in 1977.
Yes, that's when we got it at the library, and yeah.
And you can see, like Grace was saying before, how relief is kind of can be carved in. The artist's name is carved in. The title of the piece is carved in. And then over here, the year is also carved in. But like Grace said, some of it's raised, right? Like you can see his leg is raised. And it looks like people are carrying something right here. Now, Grace, I'm touching this. Is it okay to touch the artwork?
It's not necessarily recommended that you touch the artwork, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But, we did just restore this, and it's, we clean up all the icky dust that's been growing on there. We fix some cracks. So, I mean, if you happened to
brush up on it,
that's okay, but maybe give it a little space. Just like today.
It's super, super cool. I love looking at it. So again, guys, this is our Gilgamesh piece, and we're between the first and the second floor. So when you're going up the stairs or going down the stairs, you're going to see this piece. Friends, we're in the lobby, and we're by the area where you come to pick up your holds. And where you come to pick up your holds, there's a really fun-looking vase or bowl. Grace, can you tell me what this is?
Sure. So this piece is called Ruby Machia, and it's by an artist called Dale Chihuly. Chihuly is an artist that comes from Tacoma, Washington, and he's really known for his glass work. So we are so lucky that we have a piece of his because he's so prolific, well known in the glass community. And yeah, what we have is this beautiful bowl with, you know, the ruby red base. It's got kind of a contrasting lime green, lime yellow.
It's very
top.
bright on the top.
Yeah, and glass is really cool because when you're working with it, you got to get it really, really, really hot to get it to do what you want.
Yeah.
And so, you know, when you're working on it initially, you might not even know exactly what it'll look like. A lot of it is you're picturing it in your head and you're hoping that the art turns out how you're seeing it. And Dale Chihuly is really, really good at turning that stuff in his brain into an actual piece of glass.
So all the little colors that are in here, like I see some black, and I see maybe some like light blues and some purples. Those are all pieces of glass,
Those
right?
are all pieces of glass.
Wow.
So when you're blowing glass pieces or, you know, stretching whatever, you kind of roll them in these like jimmies or dust, which are little tiny pieces of glass, or sometimes even sand, depending on the art. And you roll it around, you manipulate it, and it stretches, it embeds, and then you get this cool speckled effect.
Wow, and it's super wavy at the top too, I've noticed. I'm kind of standing on my tiptoes so I
Yeah.
can see it. It's got a wavy effect on the top too, and that's how they mold the glass too, right?
Yeah, they have tools, because, like I said, it's super hot. You don't want to touch it with your hand, otherwise you might not have a hand anymore. So you have, like, pliers and other, I've seen, you know, just like pipes and stuff, basically whatever you have around that you can see going into this that won't catch on fire when it touches it. And then, yeah, you end up with something really, really cool.
It's nice that we have this plastic container over it too, so that you can look at it. But the glass is really fragile, so we keep this container over it so that we can keep it safe and probably clear from dust too.
Exactly, yeah. I don't want the job of having to stick a feather duster in there and hoping that I don't knock it over. I have nightmares all the time and I don't even touch it.
So Grace, this is the, I'm sorry, what did you say its name was?
This is called Ruby Machia.
And it's by
Dale Chihuly.
Great. And like I said, we're right by the hold section in the library. So when you come and pick up your books or your DVDs or your games or whatever, this is right here. So Grace, we're in the lobby and we're right by the self-service return machine. So when you come to the library and return your books or your DVDs or your games or whatever, there's a piece of artwork that you can look at. Can you tell me a little bit about this piece, where we got it from and who made it and what is it?
So this piece is called Aquamelt, Flores y Conejos, and it's by an artist named Melissa Leandro. So if you break that down, Flores y Conejos, that is flowers and bunnies. So if you kind of take a peek, there's a little floral thing going on with the blue, and then there's some bunnies, like here, there. I think that's actually a squirrel and a raccoon.
A raccoon, yeah,
Basically,
hiding here too.
It's a whole game to figure out who all is on this piece.
Yeah.
And the cool thing about it, if you didn't already think it was cool, is that it is a mixed media piece. So not only is there textile, there's some paint elements, there's some, it's on canvas.
Yeah.
It's
Looks like there's maybe some like yarn. Is that yarn or is that fabric like you were saying?
Yeah, so it's thread.
Oh, it's thread, okay.
Thread. And she works with weaving, so if you can kind of tell, you know, this is a woven section, this is another woven section making up the pattern, and yeah.
So mixed media is where you have a couple different things that you make art with?
Yes, so you can really, just about anything you can think of could be mixed media. So you could have a painting and you add in some pieces of paper, then that would also technically be collage. You know, you could have some metal thrown in there too. You could even include lights and flashing elements. You know, just about anything that's not one set art medium can become a mixed media.
I remember this piece, Grace, when we first got it. I think we had like a big party when we first got it. We got it from people. Who gave it to us?
Yes, so this is actually something that we got from the foundation, the library's foundation. They are big fans of art, and we love them for that. And now we get to have really awesome pieces like this in our library for everyone to enjoy.
This is super cool. This also has a glass or a plastic container around it too, friends. So you can look at all the individual pieces that Grace was saying and find the bunnies and the foxes and some of the flowers. And you can see, if you get up close, you can see the threads. The individual threads, which I think is really, really neat. super, super cool. So what's the name of this piece again, Grace?
It is called Aquamelt, Flores y Conejos, and it's by Melissa Leandro.
And we are right by the self-service return machine in the lobby. You can kind of hear it in the background because we're always working.
Yes.
So we're right by the Curtis Street entrance of the library. So when you come in and look to the side, there's another piece of artwork hanging out. Grace, can you tell me about this? Who made it? When did we get it?
Sure.
What is it?
So this is a piece called Rumi Session Series Love, and it's by the artist Servantpagashi. And it's really cool. It's technically another mixed media piece.
Oh.
And it combines poetry, which is what this writing is all around, and resin and paint, and on a board/canvas. And then you end up with this. So if you're looking at home and you're like, whoa, there's some weird white blotches on this, that's just the lights. They're a little hot. And it's a little hard to translate on camera. But in real life, you can get up close and personal.
Yeah.
And yeah, check it out.
This is super shiny. Is that from the resin?
Yes, indeed. So resin is kind of like an epoxy, and it's used to kind of seal in and keep pieces of art safe. You know, sometimes it's on top of paint, and in this case, it's on top of this artwork, which has paper poetry elements to it.
Oh, so that's what all this writing is.
Yes.
It's done by the poet, you said, right?
Yes. So way back in the 13th century, there was this poet, Persian poet named Rumi, and he wrote lots of really beautiful pieces. And Sarvan, she,
was really inspired
and incorporated that into her pieces.
Oh, and where did we get this one from?
We also got this one from the foundation.
Ah.
Art lovers, and we love them.
It's super cool. I love looking at the way the lines cross through the red here. And it looks really neat with our red wall, too. Like, it all kind of fits together. So, Grace, you said this is poetry that the poet Rumi wrote.
Yes.
So can you tell me more about the language? What are we looking at?
So Rumi, like I said, from the 13th century, that's 1200s, he's Persian. A lot of his writing is in Persian, but there's also elements of Arabic writing and Greek writing within his pieces.
Oh, very cool.
Unfortunately, I can't read this specific one, but it's, all elements from his work incorporated into this really cool piece.
And it might look a little bit different than how modern language looks because it was so long ago. It might look a little bit different.
Exactly.
So, great. So, Grace, up on the second floor, behind the elevators, there's a different kind of artwork. Can you tell me a little bit about it? You can see the picture. We're not there because it's a little too glary, so we had to give a picture of it for you, but can you tell us a little bit about it?
Sure. So these are Burmese teaching panels, and they are actually another form of a relief art, which is interesting.
So that's where it's got carving, and then it's got stuff coming out, right?
Yes, correct. So just like Gilgamesh, it has some 3D elements to it. Some of these are even more 3D, which is neat. And it is a piece that comes from the 18th century, which, no, I'm just kidding. It is not from the 18th century. It's from the 19th century, which means it's the 1800s. I always flip that around in my head.
It's hard to remember. I do the same thing. It's super hard to remember.
And these panels, so they were used kind of to tell stories, almost like the Gilgamesh one. And they are from Mandalay in what was formerly known as Burma, but nowadays it's Myanmar. And it is wood, so you can kind of see some grain in there. Paint, maybe there's a little bit chipping off here and there, but that's just because it's so old.
Yeah. We've got it hiding behind a plastic case, too, because it's super old. We have to keep it really safe from people walking by and things like that. But it's really cool looking.
Yeah, and also, dusting. If you've got a feather duster and you stick it in there, it could get caught on there, and then there goes someone's head. No one wants that.
It's really, really neat. Like, I love looking at and seeing, like you said, it looks really old, and it's cool how the wood looks and the paint looks, and it's really, really neat. That's the whole thing about telling stories, which is what we do here at the library.
Yes.
So, Grace, we're on the second floor, right by Teen Central, and we're at these big windows.
Yes.
And you can also see this, we can see the artwork really well from here. But if you enter through our Curtis Street entrance and look up, also see the artwork, and what are we looking at? What is it?
That is a great question. So this piece is called Journey to Janus, and it is by an artist named Walter Gordinier. We got this piece in 2000, so 21 years ago. That's hard to believe. And it is a piece that uses glass and architectural elements, so that's like some metal around it.
Yeah.
And it is something that was commissioned back in the day by the Library Board of Trustees.
I love it because you can see the different colors inside the cone, inside that triangle-looking shape. It almost kind of looks like a witch's hat.
Yes, it does. Or maybe like a traffic cone upside down
There
and
you
it's
go.
capturing some stuff. So Janus is actually a Roman god, right? If you know anything about mythology.
Sure.
And he is portrayed as two faces, so one that sees the future and one that sees the past. And that's kind of how we see the library. We look to the past, you know, in some of our books, and we're also constantly looking to the future. New ways to learn about things and read about stuff. And
Oh, I really like that.
Yeah.
I also really like the wavy line here. I think
yes.
that's neat looking.
Yeah, lots of different elements to this one.
Yeah.
That's the great thing about art is that it doesn't have to just be like one piece, right? We have multiple elements that all come together to make this work.
Super cool. So this is we're looking out on the second floor, right by Teen Central. But when you enter in through the Curve Street door and look straight up,
Yes, don't fall over.
there it is. And what did you say the name of it was, Grace?
This is called Journey to Janus, and it's right here in this overhang of the lobby. And it actually, if you come up and see it on the second floor, it continues down, and there's an element at the top too that you can check out too.
Very cool. Very cool. So Grace, we're in the kids' room, which is my favorite spot in the library.
Yes.
And we're right by the comics and the manga and the homework section. What are we looking at?
So this piece is called Big Rally, and it's by an artist named David Gerstein, and he is an Israeli artist. If you take a peek and you look at it, it's got 3D elements to it. There's layers to it. It's actually metal that's been painted with all these bright colors.
Yeah, there are like different layers. I can see here's one, and then right behind this one is another one. And then behind that is a third one. So like you said, there are different layers that make it kind of stand out. It looks like, and it makes it look like they're moving, and I think that's because of the paint on there.
Yes, so it's kind of got this streaky look to it, and that's kind of to give it an effect that they're going so fast. Big rally, so I'm guessing he's picturing a bicycle race.
Yeah.
And everyone, this is probably the start, and everyone's super close together, and they're, maybe, hopefully not, elbowing each other in front of one another, and they're just, zooming down the road, and there you go, it's captured here.
I like how I've just noticed this too. I've seen this piece a lot coming to the kids' room and helping kids find their books. So one of the things that I noticed, no matter how many times I've been here helping kids find books, is that it looks a little different. So for example, this one here has a hat on. This one here looks like he has a helmet, so they have different ones. That's neat.
Yeah, different repeating elements too, so you can kind of see, okay, these people have helmets on, this guy has a hat, and you kind of see that happening again here, right?
Yeah.
There's the hat guy and helmet people.
Oh.
I guess some of them like their brains a little better than the others, but hey.
Bike safety is very important, guys. I also like how some of the wheels are filled in totally, and some of them are empty or not filled in, because then I can look through and see different colors and different elements to it, like you were saying.
Yes.
I like that he wrote his name here, too.
Yes, you can zoom on in the center, and there's his name.
I like that he wrote his name. It tells you who did it. So Grace, remind me, what's the name of this piece?
So this piece is called Big Rally, and it's by the artist David Gerstein.
Very cool. And it's in the kids' room, right by the comic section. So we're in the kids' room again, which, again, my favorite place. And we're right by the program room. Right by the program room is a huge piece of art that I actually remember, and some of you guys might too, when it was being painted in the library. Grace, can you tell me about it?
Yeah, so this piece is called Soaring, and it's by an artist named John McDavitt, and he's actually from the area. And it's this big, awesome mural that takes over this whole wall.
Yeah.
And it shows some stories coming to life. Might be a little bit before anyone of you can remember, but before the 2014 renovation, John used to have a bunch of murals all around the kids' room, like the mouse house, there's a train mural, and then so when we had the renovation, there wasn't, you know, it kind of went away, which was a little bit of a bummer because I remember that when I was tiny. Hard to believe I was tiny at some point. But this was actually something that the foundation commissioned, so now we have his artwork all over again, and it's even... I might have to say it's even cooler than it was before. All the colors, all the different stories. It's just, there's a lot of great parts to this. I think my favorite is maybe this octopus that looks like he's kind of wearing a beret or something.
I love the octopus. I love I love the cityscape down here too. I love that it's the library down here.
Yes.
All the way down here. I love that. And it looks like the books start very, very low. And they wrap their way up.
Yeah, and if you kind of take a peek at where they're coming out of the building, that's the kids' room.
That's our
kids' room.
Oh, it's so neat. And it's all paint, right?
It's all paint, yeah. And, you know, lots of layers.
Definitely.
There's, I've seen pictures where he's had a sketch and he took a picture of the wall and laid it over so you could kind of get an idea of where the different pieces of this mural would go.
What I like, too, is that you can see the paint streaks.
Yes.
And how the blue fades to green, which fades to yellow.
Mm-hmm.
I love that.
Yeah, his artistic choice was to show some of the brush strokes, and I think that, you know, adds some movement to the piece, right? So it kind of feels like it's traveling up and out, which really adds to these books and their path into the sky in our brains, and
everything is soaring.
Yeah, everything is soaring.
It. Oh, it's super cool. And I love how the beanstalk comes up and above and takes over that white space there.
Yes.
Oh, it's super, super cool. So its whole name is
Soaring.
And it's by
John McDavitt.
And we're in the kids' room right by the program room. So guys, we showed you a lot of artwork today in all different places in the library. Thanks so much for joining us, Grace. I learned so much, and I hope you guys did too.
Thanks for having me. This was a lot of fun. I love the art, and I love to share it with you guys. So hope to see you around the library checking out our awesome collection.
Definitely. Thanks, guys.
Bye.